Fighting Sail by Ryan Miller. We're going to do a refight of Scenario 2, Protect the Convoy. I did a recent video on my first attempt at doing this, and it didn't work well, because I didn't listen to Ryan. Got to trust your game designers, guys. I don't regret the time I spent doing it wrong. I mean, the only thing I did wrong is, this is our seascape. I put some islands up there. That was a mistake. Because it made things a little bit too complicated. It made life too hard for these fellas down here. Now I'm going to improvise and improve, rather. Do the best I can. Here's my damage tokens over there. This is our Black Fleet. They are protecting these 1, 2, 3 unnamed... Well, I'm going to call them the Friends of Jesus. I don't have a chartreuse microbus. But this is the unnamed convoy. And what we've got here is a first rater. No, that's a third rate. Which one's the first rate? That's a third. Oh, you're right in the center, right? Anchor, and there's our quarterback, our first-rate ship. This is the SS Rubber Duck. I'm going to give these names. The Rubber Duck is a first-rate, and then these two third-raters are going to be Pigpen in the back and Sodbuster here in the front. These three guys are big ships of the line. They're kind of slow. These three unnamed cargo ships are really fast, but they can't afford to race out ahead. Because if we slide on over here to look at this attacking fleet, this is who they have to worry about stopping. The convoy wants to exit from this table edge over here. We've got what is that? That is a fourth-rate ship. Now, again, just to remind you, the fleet over there was built using, oh man, I don't even remember. I think the Portuguese for the costs. It's a 22-point Navy. They've got 26 morale points. The extra 6 is because they're motivated to get those merchantmen off the board. Over here, we've got Father Grape. This is a second-rate ship. The rest of these, he's built on the Portuguese lines. The rest of these guys are privateers, and everybody here gets to reroll 1s on the boarding dice. They are all built for boarding actions. In addition to this ship of the line, the second-rate Father Grape, we've got a squadron of 5th and 6th raters. This is the Lunt, the Cucambra, and Red Bob is the 6th rate ship down here. I will refer to them as Father Grape, Lunt, the Cucambra, and Red Bob from here on out. Rather than first rate, second rate, we're going to give them a little bit of personality. Congratulations to those of you that identify that reference. In the meantime, let's take a look. Just as with the last battle, we're going to do, the wind is coming from the south. We're looking from south to north. And I forgot my tripod, so if things get a little wobbly and you get a little motion sick from watching this, let's just chalk that up to a producer decision to enhance the ambiance of your user experience by adding motion sickness to the waves. Let's roll for initiative. Since I don't have the tripod and to kind of speed things along a little bit here, I'm not going to bore you with every single measurement. Black dice, black sails, they get the initiative. What I'm going to do is maybe I'll roll a couple of dice to show you. The Rubber Duck is a first rate. He's only got a sailing of 2. He gets 1 success. Remember, the wind is from this way. He's running, so he gets to move 2 inches, and then we get to move 3 sailing points here and 1 sailing point here. And then the merchantmen are actually just going to hang tight. They're going to wait and let these guys get a little bit ahead. They have a sailing of 6, so they're going to be able to catch up as much as they need. I'm going to measure these, and then we'll go take a look at how those, and then I'm going to roll and measure for these guys' movement. You just got to have to take my word for it. We'll come back after movement is over. I am going to try to leave that weather gauge as in the center as long as I can to help you stay oriented. As expected, the ships of the line, big, slow, ambulance ships. Now that I think about it, they're built on the Spanish line. Very appropriate. Sending massive, cumbersome ships to protect a treasure fleet. That makes perfect sense. Over on this side, a little bit of confusion on the white side. The brigs are racing off up to the north, and they're going to have to cut back into the wind. And then a little bit of confusion here based on the dice rolling and where people moved. The 6th raider had to kind of cut across the bow of this 5th raider. See, there I go. The Red Bob had to cut across the stern of Le Cucambra just because they rolled way more dice. So what we're looking at here is these guys just racing up as far as they can and then cutting down to cut off the Black Fleet as the Black Fleet slowly lumbers its way. Now, the Black Fleet's plan here is to go ahead and leave these guys, a good 6 inches behind, and then once the big boys get locked horns and the White Fleet is entirely distracted, then scoot these guys around whichever way you can to get off the board. One thing to point out, because the wind is from the south, everybody started as far south as they could and as angled as close to the wind as they could so that they could get that 4+. Once you turn 45 degrees in, now you're only getting sailing points on a 5+. It's going to make life a lot harder. So where you've got 7 and 8 sailing dice like these guys all have, I think the Pot Grape only rolls 4, so that's why we put him fully south. And the rest of these ships are getting 7 or 8, so they have far more possibilities of turning into the wind, exposing those broadsides and not getting locked in with the anchor. But nobody has any they're all out of range still, so we're still feeling our way at each other, and we're ready to roll for initiative. And this time around, the Black Fleet is going to get the initiative again. So we'll show you, and this is a little unfair to roll to see how many sailing points everybody gets. So this time, why don't we do this just so we understand. He's going to get a total of 2 sailing points. He's moving forward 4 inches. He's going to move ahead 2 inches, and they're all just moving straight. That's one of the reasons I'm not worried about it. 18! Oh, we got to roll percentile for strength. Does he want to move the full 6 inches? I think so. I think they're setting up a pretty good wedge that'll give these guys some shadow as they zip up along. So 2, 4, 6, and maybe this time around with the 6 dice, we're going to roll, and these guys are going to start creeping up a little bit more. The first one is going to get to move 4 times, 3, and then, not you, it's going to be 3 for each of them. So they're not going to use their full movement. I'll move them, and I'll take a look at the White Fleet. The Black Fleet has brought their convoy up behind their protection, the shadow of their ships. This is the Rubber Duck, that first-rate Pigpen Sodbuster. They don't have a shot. You check their line of sight, and the best they can do is in this area. So as we make our initial turn to the north, the White Fleet has the advantage. In fact, what an advantage it is. Now, all of these are firing at long range, so they're only hitting on 5. But he's going to fire a big volley with the Father Grape at the Black Flagship. Then, these 3 ships, this is a squadron, they're going to combine fire, again, hitting this guy on 5. So, we're going to roll 10 dice, colors don't matter, no explosions, hitting on 5s. He's only going to get 2. The good news is the Spanish ships are very well engineered. The Pot Grape has a hull of 10, and he gets to reroll 1s, so he gets his 1, 2, 3 saves, and that first shot does no good. Now, these 3 guys with a gunnery of 4, 2, and 2 are going to be shooting a total of 8 dice. And once again, they're only hitting on 5s. So they get a total of 4 hits this time, rolling all 10 for the hull, and we get our 4 saves, saving on a 4-up. Then the last thing we can do is these 2 little brigs, notice the movement here, he's feeling a little reluctant. I think he's going to get a stern talking to at the end of this fight. I'm going to move this out of the way. These 2 guys do have a shot, and this would be a raking shot. They have crossed the T, but because they are lowly little brigs and they're firing as a squadron, it's just going to be a straight-up 2 dice. They get 1 hit. Why not on the Pigpen? And the Pigpen is going to roll 9 hull, and he's going to save. Hey, it was worth a shot. It's a calm ranging shots, right? That's the end of the turn. Nobody's got any damage, so we can roll for initiative. And this time, the White Fleet gets the initiative. At the conclusion of their movement turn, the larger ships in the privateer fleet have made their dive to the left. The brigs, I don't know, they're just kind of tooling around. They don't know what they're doing. And they are beautifully set up to commandeer this whole portion of the battlefield. The problem that they're faced with now is that these guys have the opportunity to cut back across their bows, or their sterns, rather, and that's exactly what they're going to do. We're going to roll for the flagship first, And the rubber duck is only going to get one success, so he's going to scoot up. And, oh, you know, that may have been a mistake to move him first, because we are looking at a collision like so. Yeah, got to make a sailing test, looking for a 6. You got it. So we turn just enough to avoid the collision, and then you can spend points as desired. Now, he only got the 2 points. He doesn't have any points left over, so I think he's done. Whoops. Now let's go ahead and roll for him, see where he winds up. He's going to get a total of 3 sailing points. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually use 2 of those. So he moves up 2 inches to here. We're going to turn 90 degrees, and then we're going to use that last sailing point to move down to there. And then he is going to roll... Oh, I'm sorry. He only gets to roll 3 dice. Let me do that again. He's going to roll 3 dice. He's going to get a grand total of 1 sailing point, and he's just going to scoot up. Then the question is, where are these guys going to go? I am going to roll 6 dice for each of them, and they're going to try to slip through here and come around this way. So the first one gets 2. They're all still hitting on 4s. 2, and then this last one is going to get 3. So I'll move those, and we'll take a look at the gunnery. At the conclusion of the movement, our merchantmen have made the turn to the south and are hoping to shoot through this gap on the next turn. They're hoping that the privateers have overshot their mark, and they're going to be able to slip by and just race for the finish line over here. That's what the brigs are doing. They're essentially trying to cut them off if they can. The problem that they face is that they are badly out of position. The only real shot they might have is the flagship. No, he does not. See that line? He still does not have a shot on him. The pigpen does have a shot on somebody if he survives. For their part, the flagship is going to fire a shot here. That is a raking shot. Center to center means bad news. Over here, they've got, should have been a total of 10 dice on that last attack. It's 4, 4, and 2, not 2, 2, and 4. Here's the decision. They're all going to fire on the flagship. The only guy that's in a position for raking, and a squadron cannot do raking shots. So do you fire 10 dice just at a distance, or do you hope for the raking? And as you can see, they're within 12 inches. Do you want to fire 6 dice as one attack and 4 dice as a raking attack, or just a straight 10? I think you want to roll the straight 10. And that's what we're going to do. Because with a hull of 10 with the rerolls, that's a lot of armor to punch through. Because they are 12 inches away, they're going to be hitting on 4s, and they don't get any, no raking shots, but you do get the explosion, right? So these 2 6s do count. They get a total of 2 hits, and then for the 6s, we'll roll these guys. Total of 5 hits altogether. There's a raking shot. That might have been pretty bad news. But the 5 hits, now we got to roll for the save on 4 ups, and we get a total of 5 saves, even without re-rolling the 1s. That is one tough nut to crack. At least it's in a bad position. Then we have the flagship. That is the Father Grape is going to fire 10 guns into the bow, and this is a raking shot at a distance of, just outside of 6 inches. So once again, we're going to be hitting on 4s, exploding on 6s, but those 6s will re-roll, and as long as they keep getting 6s, they're going to keep adding to the blamage. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll that silly guy right there. So we get a total of 4 hits on the first shot. Going to re-roll that 6 and turn this into a hit. So a total of 5 hits on the third rate. Now the third rate, rolling against 5 hits, is only going to get 9 dice, but he does get to re-roll the 1s, and he gets 1, 2, 3, 4 saves out of the initial roll, and he's got a chance. He's just got it. There it is. So he's got his 5 saves. No damage on their part. Then he does get to return fire, and he's going to take a shot at... Well, they're all in the same place. He's going to be firing at guns of 9. Do we want to sink... Do we want to hit that, I don't want to call it the 6th rate. Does he want to sink Red Bob or go for Le Cucumber? Let's try to sink Red Bob. He's got a smaller hull of just 1. A lucky shot. We can put him, send him to Davy Jones' locker. We're rolling 9 dice. No re-rolls, just counting them up. And at that distance, The 6s are exploding dice, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 hits off the top. We're going to roll to see if we can add, and hitting on 4s on these dice. So we get a total of 5 hits. The red Bob gets 1 chance. He's only got a hull of 1. He doesn't save any of them. He immediately gets sent to the bottom of the sea. They have a morale of 22. Both fleets are built on 225 points. 22 goes down to 21. Wait a minute. Oh, it's got a hull of 1. So the most you can lose on 1 cannon shot is 1. But then by sinking him, they lose another 1. So they are now down to a morale of, well, 22 minus 2 would be 20. And then we're going to put that nice little shipwreck. I'll show you what it looks like right there compared to the ship. Launch boats. Good luck, fellas. Hope you can swim. So that's the end of the shooting round for the White Fleet. Now we have to see... Oh, no, that's the end of the shooting full stop period. Nobody else has any shots. Well, that's not true. You know, this merchantman, he does have 1 shot at him. Might as well. Out of 4, that is a hit. And then he has the Lunt there, has 3, and he makes all 3 of his saves. So, to no effect. But hey, why not? And then you know what? He's got a shot too. Because these are merchantmen, they're not well drilled in combined fire. I don't let them do it. So they get the 1 shot, and is that within 6? If that's within 12, that is an exploding die. So if this is a 4, he actually does 2 damage. Go, little merchantmen. Man, the Friends of Jesus are tight. So 2 hits, rolling 3 for saves, and they only get 1 save. So that is a damage of 1. Their morale goes down to 19, and they're disrupted. You get an anchor token, thanks to the heroic cannon fire of this little merchantman. Boy, you know, the merchantmen are better warriors than the guys on the brigs. Who would have guessed it? And that means it's time for initiative. Tie. Oh, good times. This is fun. This means something special. First of all, since White had the initiative last turn, these guys are going to get to go first. The Black Fleet gets to go. But because we're tied, we have a potential for a weather change. Here it is. On a 1, they're becalmed. On a 6, the wind picks up to a gale. We'll read what it means after we roll the dice. That's this guy over here. And then on a 2-3, calmed. That means that for this turn, there's no wind. You only get sailing points on a 6. This is probably great news for the privateers. It's going to pin these guys in place. Going to have another round. At least I think that's what's going to happen. Since they're moving first, let's go ahead and roll for the White Fleet as usual. And you'll have to trust me on the Black Fleet. There's just way too many ships over there. Since he's... Well, no, we're going to roll for this guy first. We're going to roll 3 dice. Looking for 6s. He doesn't get any. No free movement. He didn't get any, so he is now... he gets an anchor token, but at the end of your movement, you can make a discipline check. We're going to roll 5 dice to see if he can remove it. So he gets the 6, so at least he doesn't pick up the anchor token. And then he's going to go, that's the flagship, is going to get nothing. He's got to make a discipline check, and he has a discipline of 7. So he does pick up an anchor token. And then this last sodbuster down here, he doesn't get any sailing points. And we'll see if he gets, no anchor for him. So just the 1 anchor for the flagship. Rolling for the merchantman, and I'm going to roll first to show you. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 for the Friends of Jesus. The first one gets to go 4 inches. The second one gets to go 4 inches. And the third one gets to go 2 inches. No chance of any anchor tokens. I'm going to move them. I'm going to move now that the movement is Black over, Fleet. I kind of think the calm weather this turn has really helped the convoy more so than the attackers. The attackers had the weather gauge and were thinking they were going to be able to peel back around. They're stuck in position. These guys rolled a lot of 6s and were able to kind of slip around. And of course, you ain't no little toot. He's still stuck back there. I don't know what he's doing. Is he a free safety? You think it'll come down to cut him off? We'll find out later. In the meantime, we can ignore him. As far as shooting goes, what we're looking at is a shot here at the flagship over here, and a shot here. The only real shot he's got is, again, at the Lunt. So let's do those 2 attacks first. The first attack by the flagship is going to be a total of 11 dice. And Mr. Lunt is only rolling 3 for the hull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. The 6 is an exploding die. So that becomes 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, did I miscount one or did one flip over? We're going to call it 6. 6 on that one, and then just 3 for the defense. So 6 minus 1 becomes 4 hits. And a damage of 4 is heavy damage. You get 2 damage tokens and an anchor. Not only that, but that is going to reduce their morale from 19 to 17 for the 2 hits. We're going to put 2 damage tokens here, and now his gunnery is halved. That's the real danger there, is that instead, if he gets his attack, remember we still have a second attack there. When he shoots, he is going to, he's got a couple of problems. When he shoots, his gunnery is only going to be at 2, and he can't remove the anchor until he removes both of those damage, and if he does his discipline check and fails, he sinks. I think, is it with 2 damage tokens, or is it, no, it's if your 3rd damage token. So we're okay. He's just badly mauled, but we do have a second shot, and that shot is going to be from the Pigpen, who is firing a total of 9 dice. So there's our 8 and our 9th. Scoop them all up. They are firing at beyond 6 inches, so it's 4s to hit, 6s explode. Total of 3 hits this time around on that same vessel. 3 hits, and then this exploding die does not add, so it's just a total of 3 hits. And he's rolling 3 dice to save. So 3 hits minus 3 hits. Hey, those, I guess there was so much wreckage, the cannonballs just went through the holes like a cartoon. Then we have a couple of little guys down here. They're going to make 2 separate attacks, so these are both going to be saved independently, and they're only going to be hitting on 5s. Because, well, I mean, we should check. Are they 12 inches? They are both within 12 inches. Boy, that's really close. Those do not explode, so it's going to be 2 saves with 3 dice each. The first one is going to be 1 save, saving on 4 up, and then all 3 saves. So nothing doing there. That's it for the Black Fleet. Then we're going to look at the White Fleet. Now, he's got a shot here, and I think that is indeed a raking shot. Center point to center point over here. So the Father Grape is going to be firing all 10 guns at, well, is it 6 inches? There's 6 inches. It's just outside of 6 inches. So none of these are going to be, they're all hitting on 4s, exploding on 6. Now that 6 is going to allow a reroll here. And then, oh, yeah, that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on the Pigpen, who gets to roll 9 dice to save. 5 hits, we're trying to save 5 of them. We'll get rid of that. With 9 dice, re-rolling the 1s. There's only 2 block shots, and then that one as well. So 3 block shots. The 5 becomes 2. He is shaken. Gets an anchor token. And we can actually go ahead and take advantage of this too. Crippled. Gunnery and boarding are halved. That's the flagship firing here. Then this ship is going to be able to fire over here. And now they can, I don't think they can combine fire. We're just going to fire here. That's going to be a raking shot. So it's a total gunnery of 4. And these are infinitely exploding 6s. So it gets a total of 3 hits on the top, and then this die is for the 6, and it misses for the second. So it's just a total of 3 dice. Then we got to roll for the Black Fleet's hull, trying to save against the 3. He's got a hull of 10, and wow, that's a lot of successes. So no damage there. Then this old boy down here, he gets to fire 2 dice. He's going to fire at this merchant man. You got to keep your eyes on the prize. Yellow dice, looking for 5s. He gets a 6, it does not explode. This merchantman only has a hull of... Oh, he's got a hull of 3, so there's a chance. Yeah, there's his save. No damage done. That's the end of the shooting, and things really aren't all that mixed up. We can roll for initiative and see who gets to go. So on a 5, the Black Fleet gets to go first, and oh, I gotta double check. We'll be right back. I want to see what happens to the wind after the calm goes away. The wind picks up, so it's still to the north, which means the Black Fleet is going to have an opportunity. Now, all of their ships except this one still are running. So we'll roll for this guy first. He gets, well, he doesn't get any 6s, so we shift over to his discipline check to see if he can at least lose the anchor, and he does. Then we'll roll for the flagship. He's got an anchor, so he does not succeed, and he rolls 7 dice to see if he can lose it. And he does not, so he's still in a little bit of trouble. And then we'll roll for this guy. He's going to roll 3 dice for sailing points. He's going to get 2, and he's going to be able to move 4 inches. So if we drop this here, he can move up to there. He's not turning at all. He's basically just racing to see if he can get a shot and protect these guys. And that's, hey, you're moving into the wind. There you go. So that's the big ships of the line. Then we're going to roll 6 dice, and we're going to start with this guy down here. He's going to get to go, and I'll just tell you, because I'm going to move him here in a second, they're just going to race up as far as they can, as fast as they can. He's going to get a total of 4 sailing points, so he can move 8 inches. The second guy, moving on 4s, he's going to get 3, and then the last guy is only moving on 5s. He's going to get 2. So it's 4, 3, and 2. The Lunt is in... Oh, I got to roll for this guy, see if he sinks. He does not. So that is still wreckage that is subject to collisions. The Lunt here has to make his sailing check first. He's only going to be moving on 6s, so he does get to kind of creep ahead a total of 2 inches, and then he kind of drags these damage tokens along. Then he's going to make his discipline check, and he's only got a discipline of 5. Looking for a 6. He didn't get any, so he is still crippled. Then we'll deal with Le Cucumbre, who is also... he's not, actually. He's going to be moving on 4s. He gets... Oh, let's not trash the ships over there. He gets a total of... Because the wind is picked up, it's still to the north. He gets a total of 3 movement. Then... Well, let's just go ahead and do that. He's going to... With the wind directly at his back, he doesn't get any free turns. We're going to have to wheel him around. So he moves 2 to here, 2 to here. Now, I could use that last sailing point. We're going to go ahead and turn... Ooh. We're going to turn, and we're going to leave it like that. He's hoping to be able to circle back around and cut these guys off. In fact, he may have a shot there. I'm not sure. First, we're going to see what happens with this little guy. He's got a sailing. That brig has a sailing of 7. And he's going to get a total. Even with the anchor, he gets 2 sailing points. Wow. Go. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. He gets 2 sailing points. So the first thing we have to do is move him ahead 2. And then he can turn up to 90 degrees. Then he's got to make his discipline check, looking for a 6. He gets it. Anchor goes bye-bye. So that's where he stops. The other brig down here, he is sailing directly into the wind. So he only moves on 6. And oh boy, that was a little suspenseful, but he got it. So he gets to move the 2 inches up to here. And he's going to turn 30 degrees like that. That's probably more 45. There we go. Then we've got one more brig who's out here. Let's see if he finally gets motivated. And boy, howdy does he. He gets a total of 5 sailing points. He is reaching. So those 5 sailing points are going to allow him to move a little something like this. 1, and then turn this way. And he's going to move 2, 3, turn in a little bit. 4, and I think that's where we stop. Now, he will be reaching next turn, but at least he's lined up to intercept. The only other ship we have left to roll for is Pa Grape. The SS Pa Grape rolls, and he gets 3 movement, so he can go... Oh, that's going to look a little something like this. He's going to move up to here, and then he can turn up to 30 degrees. So that's his first. His second is going to be to there, and his third, I think we go ahead and turn the 30, and then his third is going to put him right there. So now we're going to see a big broadside traded right here. Although, you know, I take it back. He just needs to stop the convoy. So that's what our cannon fire is going to look like this turn. All of the black ships are still to the south. The white ships, I think this is going to be the turn that decides it. The black ships get to fire first. Is this a third rate? I can never remember. Yeah, that's our third rate. Now, the third rate is protecting this guy, and I think that's it. Okay, so he's going to fire over here. That third rate is on his own. He's got a gunnery skill of 9. And that's all there is to it. So we'll roll for the 9, and then he's firing at a ship with 10. He is, however, within 6 inches. So these 5s and 6s are going to count towards his final tally. So he gets to roll 5. He's already got 7. Man, this may end the game right here. He's got 7. This broadside is going to be huge. 7. He's got 12 hits altogether versus a save of 10. So 12 hits. Need a big roll here. Versus a total of 7 saves. 12 minus 7 is 5. 5 or more, catastrophic damage. The ship is sunk. Oh, no, that's a third rate. I thought that was the flagship. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I got it wrong. The game is over. When you sink a flagship, forget it. That's all it takes. With their big, it says third rate on the bottom. I'm using a third rate as a second rate because my collection's so small. When you sink a flagship, you win the battle. So I told you this was going to be a very pivotal turn, didn't I? Speaking of pivot, we're going to find a little better shot here for looking at things. With the Juggernaut, the biggest ship in the privateer fleet, sunk, with just an incredible cannonade. Wow, that was some point-blank shooting right there. The rest of these privateers give it up. They don't want any of this. They realize that they're outgunned. In fact, they've already got 2 ships sunk. For the record, that would have lowered the morale down to 12, and then the sinking of the ship, because he's got a hull of 9. Oh, I'm sorry. That's 18 points it reduces the morale, so based on that score, the game is over as well. With 3 of their biggest ships gone, and one of them, well, 2 sunk, and 1 burning like a Roman candle there in the background, the rest of these pirates don't want anything to do with this convoy. Bad investment on the part of those pirates. And I think this game flowed a lot better. Oddly enough, the result was the same. The escort, by just keying in on that flagship, was able to pull it out without suffering any other real damage of their own. I don't know, now that I've played it twice and I've had the same result, I might be using my flagships wrong. They're really big and they're really hard to bring down, but one lucky shot and suddenly the game is over. So may want to send up a few more brigs to kind of mess things up, or hold them in reserve a little bit longer until the smaller ships have had their way. I don't know. I'm going to have to sit down and think about this. You guys have been watching it, and you guys might have some advice for me. One other question before we go. Is this a better way to do battle reports? I'm not a huge fan of the swoopy, zoomy, in and out, in and out, in and out battle reports, but I do want to show you guys as many of the dice rolls as possible. Now that I've done this a couple of times, I kind of think maybe doing a bunch and leaving some of the huge movement dice rolls off camera and just walking you through what happened, that sure does seem to lead to a much more compact and efficient method of, call it storytelling, if you will. Let me know what you think in the comments on that score. If you'd like to see me do more battles with the constantly shifting, there you go, the constantly shifting camera angles, I'll do what I can. In the meantime, until next time, have a good time, and I'm praying for you.